When we talk about division of real numbers, and we're worried about our answers are positive or negative, we actually can follow the same rules we follow for multiplication. If you divide, that's what quotient means, two numbers with the same sign, your answer will be positive. If you divide two numbers with opposite signs or different signs, one positive, one negative, your answers can be negative. Again, these are the same rules that apply to integers and rational numbers, and they're also the same rules that apply to multiplication, except we're dividing here instead of multiplying. Let's look at an example of how we can use this division of real numbers to simplify problems. This says use the distributive property to simplify an expression. Let's come back to the distributive property here in a second. When looking at this problem, we have the quantity 9 minus 27x divided by negative 3. You might be wondering, how is it possible to simplify that? Well, let's rewrite this in a little bit different way. Let's take 9 divided by 27x, and we'll use the division sign even though we don't like it. We'll use the division sign to divide by a negative 3. Here's the reason I want to do this. And again, there's different ways to get to our final answer here, but this is just one way I wanted to show you. Remember, when we're dividing by a real number, that's the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So we could take 9 minus 27x, and instead of dividing by negative 1/3, or I'm sorry, dividing by negative 3, we can multiply by a negative 1/3. Dividing by negative 3 is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, a negative 1/3. Now we can use our distributive property. Remember, our distributive property says we're going to take the number we're multiplying by and give it to everything in parentheses. 9 times a negative 1/3. And you don't have to write this stuff down, sometimes it's helpful. And 27x times a negative 1/3. Minus sign, minus sign. Okay? Now, what is 1/3 of 9, or what is 9 basically divided by 3? We get 3. There's a negative there, so according to our rules, if one's positive, one's negative, the sign's going to be negative. Minus, now here, again we write this over 1, and you just kind of focus on multiplying these two things together. We can cross reduce and say 3 goes into itself 1 time, 3 goes into 27 9 times. So we have 9x times a negative 1, which is a negative 9x. 1 times 1 on the bottom. Okay? We shouldn't leave problems like this though. We should always change them to addition whenever you have minus and negative. So if we go keep, we keep the negative 3, change the minus to a plus, change negative 9x to 9x. And we just made that quotient a lot easier to understand. Okay? Another way you can think of this, and again, I'm not too overly concerned with this right now, but you can think of this negative 3 dividing everything up here. So if we go keep, change, change, we could divide the 9 by negative 3, plus we could divide the negative 27x by a negative 3. 9 divided by negative 3 is a negative 3. Negative 27 divided by a negative 3 is a positive 9x. That's probably the way I would think of it, but notice both ways we get the same result. Let's practice a little bit more. The directions say evaluate the expression when x equals negative 5 and y equals negative 1. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you're just going to substitute these numbers in. I'm going to rewrite this as negative 5 plus my y, which is a negative 1, over my y, which is negative 1, plus 1. Now, if you look at this answer here, negative 5 plus a negative 1 is a negative 6, and negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Is it possible to divide by 0? Is it possible to take a number and break it up into 0 groups? No, it is not possible. So, whenever you get a 0 on the bottom of a fraction, our answer is undefined. Okay, mathematically, we don't know what that answer is. We don't think it's feasible, so we say it's undefined, because we do get situations where this occurs, We're not really sure what it means though, so we use the term undefined. Okay? Let's look at our next example. We have 2 times y, so we're going to rewrite it as 2 times the negative 1. And we have x minus 1 on the bottom. X is a negative 5 minus 1. Again, ladies and gentlemen, be careful when doing these problems. Make sure you simplify the top and the bottom before you try to divide. 2 times negative 1 is, well, negative 2. And if you go keep, change, change, you get negative 5 plus a negative 1, which is negative 6. Don't stop there. You have to simplify it all the way to the end. First thing you'll notice is that there's a negative on top and a negative on bottom. Remember, if you divide 2 negatives, your answer is positive. I know my answer will be positive. And then let's reduce the fraction to 6. 2 goes into itself 1 time, 2 goes into itself, 2 goes into 6 3 times, and we get our answer of 1/3. Finally, we end up with 5 plus x, and our x is negative 5, so we're going to go 5 plus a negative 5 and divide that by 5. 5 plus a negative 5 is 0, and if we take 0 and divide it by 5, our answer is 0. Notice it's okay to divide by 0, or it's okay to take 0 and divide it up, but it's not okay to have 0 on the bottom.